Hmm. Hi, I'm Millie Benoit, and tonight it's Good Friday Eve, April 5th, 1985, and this is the first 1985 production. Oh, my watch just gave a peep. At least something's alive on the show. This is some apparatus is working. This is the first production in 1985 of the Inner Space tapes, and seated with me on my right, I used to be on a show where there was like a lot of people, so sometimes you had to get everything right, and I was always in fear of every room, but we've got things simplified and streamed down. So seated with me is Akady Rovner, and we're going to go into a lot of things tonight. Basically, the theme that we put on the monitor is we're going into the universal trip, and we're going to go into as above, so below. But before we do that, I'm going to make a few comments that I've been saving up for the last 6 months on the nature of what's happening for a few minutes. We'll go into a little bit stuff later on. With that, we're going to get into... We're going to jump right into everything. We might as well. Akady, in order to set the theme, brought along an hourglass, and we're going to give him a shot to explain.
A little conversation piece.
Yes. What is this with your hourglass? Let's know what's happening.
Well, the shape just suggests what it is. It has two compartments.
Right.
And it has also a neck, as you can see, if you can see it. Now you can see it.
Great.
And also a sand that is pouring from the upper compartment into a lower compartment. Actually, it's commonly thought that hourglass symbolizes time and death.
Right.
But there is a more profound symbolism that is hidden in this instrument, and it is based on the idea of duality, earth and heaven, inner and outer, absolute and relative. We see how sand slowly goes down in an array of sort of array of sand, or
good. Keep on us. Don't put the camera too much on the hourglass. Keep on us, okay?
Doesn't matter.
Well, it doesn't matter, but I'm narcissistic.
Certainly, yes.
I'm into my own vanity.
Keep on us.
Right, I'm into my own vanity.
So we see here one pole of attraction at least.
Right.
The earthly pole of attraction, the gravitation. The sand goes down, but there is another invisible pole of attraction which goes just in the opposite way.
Right.
From the lower compartment to the upper compartment. Well, and from this preliminary notes on what is hourglass, by the way, I should remind you, I know that there are some drums that have the shape of hourglass, and the lower part is called earth, and the upper part is called heaven, and sometimes the lower part is called yan, and yin is called the upper part, the masculine part. So this dualism of invisible and visible world is here, and it also relates to three things: to human being, to society, social organism, and to cosmos. Human being could be seen as hourglass. Remember Gurdjieffian numbers, man number 1 to man number 7. I would say that the neck is just hitting number 4, the one who is making an effort to wake up. And then we have number 5, number 6, and 7 representing or symbolized in the upper compartment. We can look at the society in the same way and find some systems of values or caste system represented in the lower and upper compartments. And looking at cosmos, again we see earth and heaven, inward and outward. Now my point is that our time is actually time when we are missing the upper compartment.
What do you mean? What sense?
We have only part of the hourglass. We have only the lower compartment, speaking of human beings, of society, and of cosmos. Human beings live only in the lower 3 dimensions. Men number 1, 2, and 3 are actually without any touch with the men number 5, 6, and 7. Society is made up, in the last couple of centuries actually, of the two lower castes. And we have no any more representatives of Brahmins and of Kshatriyas among us. We have people who play these roles, but we have no actually people who carry on values and inspirations that belonged to this part of the social organism in the past. And speaking in terms of a cosmic situation, it is solid earth that lost touch with heaven. It is outwardness that lost touch with inwardness. So we are locked up in the lower compartment of the hourglass, and this is actually a model of our spiritual situation.
Well, do you think that we can get out of the lower compartment, or what? I mean,
Very good question.
No, if we're locked up, it's like we might as well go home and like not have another 20 minutes, but like there must be something else. There must be like
a very simple
attraction.
Very simple trick. You turn over the hourglass, and you just instantly get solve the problem.
Well,
but there are a couple of ways to turn this over. One way is to break everything and to simplify the task, sort of a revolutionary way to turn over things. Nothing actually results from this kind of turning over. But there is another idea hidden in this turning over, and it is an idea of invoking the second pole of attraction, namely the heaven. And actually we make sand flow upward, turning it over.
Well, do you feel an ordinary person can evoke something from above, though?
No, ordinary person is hopeless, and this is actually the main condemnation that we are under. We live in a world of negatives. It is a world of emptiness. It's like in a dark room you have a negative, and then slowly it is filled up with life, with color, with lines, with everything. But we have no hope for negatives to become positives in photography. On a picture, we can't hope for a miracle, like because miracles are events that take place in different dimensions and obey different rules. They are not miracles. They are just natural or spiritual events that are under different laws or rules.
That's right. Well, like Robin Anton Wilson says, a so-called magical event is really a thing that's the technology of a higher order intruding into us. But maybe there is a way to contact the technology of a higher order and to vertically crack through the situation.
Well, if you are sympathetic with my way to look at the modern hourglass, namely made of only of a lower compartment, if you see any sense in this, you would find that there is the channel is lost. So how you want things to come? Imagine that the channel is cut off in our show. Suddenly it will be dark TV screen. And this is what I see with modern. You asked me to make this show cheerful and light.
No, absolutely not.
I'm doing my best, Millie. And this is the lightest description of.
I know.
No,
you don't, look. I'm full of light and I'm cheerful. You don't have. You just be yourself. You don't have. You don't have to make anything that it isn't.
With light, and I just want to be honest, and I want to see possibilities that exist in the lower compartment. Not that you want to write into it or think into it.
See, I live in a different way. In fact, what I'm always accused of is ignoring the lower world, which is not true. It's just that people are too stupid to understand what I'm doing, which thank God is wonderful because they don't interfere with me. But in actuality, I figured out that, like, in order to exist, you have to live in a miraculous existence. I grasped that there was no way down here on Earth to expect anybody to like do anything from this end. So I figured you got to go do it from the top end down. So like, in other words, first of all, it's a miracle that I'm alive. Now after that, I feel that you can proceed in, at least in my life, I don't know about anybody else, in a miraculous way. In other words, I don't think you're right. The linear aspect of life, meaning if you have to go an ordinary thing and go from A to B, it's very possible you'd have to make anywhere from 1,000 to 400,000 moves sometimes to get to B. Now sometimes, however, there are ways to sort of go above, out of this set of functioning, above what you call the four lower realms, and maybe just go from A to B in a different way. In other words, I feel it's possible, not for other people, but
all
for me.
spiritual authorities will laugh at this.
What I'm saying?
Yes, at this
Good.
situation.
Why?
Gurdjieff would say, how would you actually jump from man number 1, man number 2, to man number 5
right,
without the pain of going through all the efforts of man number 4? So why don't he would say, you are idiot to me and to you and to the absolute. And he would probably suggest that we start generating some conditions within human being, society, and cosmos.
I think it's like people living in a poor neighborhood. In other words, if somebody keeps telling you like it's better to live in a poor neighborhood and you're going to get out of this poor neighborhood by going through 1, 2, 3, and 4, people are going to begin to notice at some point, not now, thank God, because thank God, people instead of noticing are plugging in all sorts of apparatus into their ears and walking around. But at some point, somebody's going to take the apparatus out of your ears and understand, like, coming out of Plato's cave, coming out of the cave into the light, and see that you could stand and you could spend like 20 years trying to go from 1 to 4, and there's no way. See, I saw this in about like 6 months when I was involved with some of these people. I realized that if you kept doing the same thing and you did the same thing and sat around for like 6 months, there's no way to go from 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that is a trick that everybody who's somewhere else always tells you, but you got to be doing that. And the reason they do that is like, in order for you to occupy yourself while they're out there doing something else. So the trick is to find out what they're really doing, not what they tell you to do. Everybody tells you to do one. It's left hand, right hand. They tell you to do one thing.
Yeah, all right.
But they're not. They're lying to you. In other words, the big thing is that everybody who tells you that this is how it works is lying, in my opinion. I don't think they tell the truth.
But would you agree that there are actually 2 poles of attraction?
Sure.
One is outward, the other is inward.
Yes.
And the first condition for any achievement, any leap, is to look inward or upward. Speaking in terms of the hourglass, you should turn over either yourself, stand upside down, or turn over the hourglass, which is the same thing, and start looking upward, let's say.
Absolutely.
And this is only the beginning, and what will you see? You will see the neck of the hourglass, which will look like a neck of a cave. Mm-hmm. And actually the darkness will meet us when we'll try to get through the neck. And it's unavoidable. There are stages, like man number 4 stage, that is unavoidable. One can jump from number 3 to number 5, 6, and this is, well, some advances can be given to us, but still we have to pay for any real progress, and the payment is actually very light and very pleasant.
Speaking. Okay, I'm going to reintroduce, for those of you who joined us and have no idea what's going on, I sympathize with you. I feel the same way, and I don't know what's going on either, but we're going to be here till at least like 10:28 doing it anyhow. This is Akady Rovner, who's with me. I'm Millie Benoit. This is Inner Space Tapes, and the object is to reconnect. Well, actually, what we're doing, we're going on a trip in the hologram, and we're jumping to another hologram. This is just all preparation anyhow, so this is our first thing. You can join me on my next show, which will be, I think it's the 21st, Midsummer's Night Eve, June, and we're going to do some more reconnection then. This is just the first step, and each step is like, there's no way to understand what any of these steps mean, so just ignore the content and just watch it, because we're in a Marshall McLuhan world of nonlinear shamanistic relationship to TV, and you might as well be looking at this as doing anything else, or doing anything else, and looking at this. It's totally irrelevant. If you're here with us, have a good time and enjoy it.
And stop looking at the sand flowing down in the hourglass.
Feel free. Like,
look at it as if it is a certain descending, the way revelation descends, or ascending, the way Christ and Virgin Mary ascended. It is a movement inward and outward. It's also certain unfolding of possibilities hidden, contained in the cycle of manifestation. And look at our time as if all the possibilities of our cycle have been already unfolded and have presented themselves, and we are now turning the hourglass. We are now in a very instant of turning it around, and then what happens actually? The new cycle didn't begin, the old cycle ended, and we are expecting for the new grains to fall down, to pour down, for the new seeds of heaven, let's call them. The seeds didn't fall in the soil, and the soil is not ready, and we are really confused. But let's right.
Well, why? Of course we're confused. Yes. I don't think there's any chance that anybody can really know what's going on. Things are very, very hidden, and it's very, very difficult to know what's going on. Oh, if anybody wants to get in touch, incidentally, the number I give out is 279-9321, 279-9321, and it's my number, Millie Benoit. It's my service. So if you want to, you call me, and then and I'll get you in touch with Akady. I was going to say earlier that anybody who's doing like any realized master or any master is very, very hidden. So we're like very, very hidden. So we have real filters. You see, if you want to get in touch with Akady, you got to call me first, and I'll filter you to him because we don't want you to bury anything anybody's doing. So we're anything that's easy to get, incidentally, is usually it's like this guy who I shouldn't mention who he is, but his disciples are out there. He wrote the Book of Secrets, and the moment somebody writes the Book of Secrets, you know you're dead. There's not going to be one secret in it. So everything that you want to find is like very, very hidden. Okay. Yes.
What I want to add to what you say is that the work that is being done today is a hidden work. We live in a certain end and beginning between cycles, and it is also an end of the century.
Yes.
You know that beginnings of the century are very extroverted.
Right.
Everything flourishes. People are very agitated, very delirious. They shout, they yell, they shoot each other. And now we are living in a very subdued and esoteric part of our cycle, century cycle. Yes.
You're great. This camera is good. It really makes me go on.
Thank you, Millie, for encouraging the conversation.
But, I'm encouraging it,
you are great, as always. But I see this time as a very fruitful time.
Yes.
A lot of things are going on inside, underground, in a human being, in the society, and in the cosmos.
Right.
New possibilities are being set up for the future, and a lot of work is going on here and in Europe, in Asia, and in other parts of the world towards a new beginning that is not something that starts this night, within this last 5 minutes or 7 minutes, or within maybe this last couple of decades. And I look very cheerfully and very, very hopefully at our time. Most important things are going on, but they are going on under layers of soil and rock, and they should be there until time will come, and they will come to the surface like volcano or like, and what we are doing today here in obscurity will be shown on commercial TV.
Right.
Yes, it will be certainly profanized, and people will do this, will get a lot of money for this, while we are not getting paid at all.
Well,
on the contrary, what is your idea of the time of the particular part, little segment of the circle of the cycle that we live in?
First of all, there's no question in my mind that we're like travelers. We're like sort of astronauts who fell into this time. There's no way that I'm of this time. You're not of this time either, whether we're from ahead of a time, but nobody is ever from. P.D. Uspensky makes a point. Nobody ever comes in from the past and atonement. You always recur in probably from the future. And what I have a feeling is, I have a feeling for some reason I fell into this timeline. I have to be here, and there's something I have to do. Certainly, I'm going to have to live out my life till the whole thing is over, and I might as well do it.
Concrete. What is something? What are you going to do here?
What am I really going to do? Well, first of all, there's going to be a very radical energy shift at the end of, like end of June. And the first thing I'm going to do, being very good, I plan to survive, I plan to get out alive, and I plan to ascend. I plan to make an enormous trip from one hologram to another in as good shape as possible, and take as much of everything on the internal, external planes with me as possible. I'm working very, very hard. And I expect, this is a time, it's a tremendous time for externalizing certain very strong things that you wish for. So you got to be very careful what you wish for. And I'm one of these wild wishes. Like I always say, don't wish for anything. And then I say, okay, give me the usual youth, beauty, immortality, a fortune. Give me everything, God. And God usually hears me and he says, I'll give you what I think is right for you. but no. So what I'm doing is asking for everything, setting up everything for the coming next year or two with my own inner work. And it's a time that everything can be set up ahead. In other words, I'm already looking to past the next 4 months, and I realize that there are all these timelines. There are 3 or 4 very important paths to choose, and I plan to be on the right path. Also, of course, I'm I don't think we're born with a soul, so I work very hard to protect my soul, keep it hidden, because you need a Donna for all these other space trips. So I'm planning to and I don't care what's going on in the outer planes, I keep my inner movements impeccable. I plan to have no detritus. I don't want to take anything that I don't need with me, So I'm planning to work very hard. We're almost to the point. See, time being what it is, very hard to hold on to, and disappearing in every way, including in this hourglass. It slipped away from us as it should, and we're going to say goodbye to everybody who's part of our trip and all the, across the. Okay, I want to say bye, everybody. Akady, you can say good night. Good night, everybody. Watch MTV later on.
See you again.
Okay, don't get snapped onto those all those Ethiopian hunger stuff. No snaps on that. Good night.